What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So Gotham's back, which is awesome. Finally we can start doing these episode reviews again for Gotham. And honestly, it was a great start. I actually really liked this episode. It was a great start to it, especially coming off a reasonably good season ending. They had some scenes that we've been waiting for a long time. AKA, Bruce putting on a mask and going up, standing on ledges and beating up bad guys at night. We've been waiting for that. We've been waiting that for a while. And this season, we're going to get that. We're getting that, sort of like the awakening of Batman. That's the sort of thing we're getting. We're getting the first iteration of Bruce doing his thing. Going out and essentially not being Batman yet, but he's learning those lessons, like how to go through a skylight properly when going down, when trying to stop bad guys. Those tricky skylights, they break. So, but yeah. So the episode starts out pretty much right off, about 3 months after the whole mess of everything and all that. And Bruce basically coming down, beating up some more bad guys and all that. And that was pretty cool. And it sort of shows the sort of first, difference of what Gotham is, Gotham's going through, which is have licenses now. Basically what happens is that Penguin has solidified his power. He's become the guy in Gotham to, sort of rule over all the criminals and stuff. And, he's, gotten rid of all the bad guys, all the stuff people he can't control and all that. And now he's issuing licenses to bad guys so they can go off and do crime. And he has a deal with the mayor and the police commissioner. If these guys have licenses, you can't touch them. That means they've been approved. The crime is, essentially legal, in a way, in Penguin's world. And yeah, that's cool. And if you don't have a license, he will send Zaz after you, and he'll just kill you and be done with you. That's kind of where he's going with that. But yeah, it was cool to see kind of Penguin coming into his own now. He's embraced being Penguin. He's embraced being kind of a weirdo, kind of an out of control guy, and starting the Iceberg Lounge and all that was really cool. It was a cool thing to, we had Ed really step into his own and become the Riddler last season. Now we're starting to see Penguin coming into his own, becoming, the Penguin, essentially, for this season. I imagine that this season is going to be a lot of sort of, characters really starting to step into those characters we all know and love. All those characters we've wanted to see them become for a few seasons now, which is, Bruce stepping into his own and becoming Batman, Selina coming to her own and being Catwoman, as we've seen with her sort of training with Tabitha now, and she has some pretty badass scenes in this. And, I think that's where this season's going to go, just a whole bunch of, characters really becoming who we all know and love them to be, which is exciting, which is very exciting. I'm super happy about that. So yeah, criminals have licenses. Of course, Jim's pissed off about that, and he doesn't give a shit. He arrests people, he arrests a guy for sticking up a bar, and he had a license, but he didn't really give a shit. I would just oh, it's broken. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not valid anymore. Grab, throw him in jail. And basically, this makes Jim enemy number one with all the cops. The cops hate that. And I think that was the big thing with this episode is you're starting to see the way Gotham looks at Penguin now. Gotham actually likes Penguin because, the crime rate is half of what it was. It was I think it's down by 50-something%. And, they actually see him as the person who's making them safe. Who's stopping all these bad guys. And yeah, some bad stuff happens every so often, but it's okay. It doesn't happen to me. So, Who cares, you know? That's the sort of thing that's happening. And the cops love it because no cops are getting shot. No one's, you know, shooting back, and like these, you know, they're professionals, you know, so they think that, you know, this is a better deal. Like, we don't really have to do much. We just let them go, and that's it. So, you know, it was interesting to see how you can tell Gotham's kind of moving in a way where they don't really respect the GCPD anymore. You know, falling for these big, flamboyant characters, it's like the Penguin and all that, you know, and they're going to them for them to save, you know, to protect them. So, in a way, I feel like that's going to start opening up when Bruce starts coming into his own and really starts, you know, honing his abilities and, you know, becomes that hero. It's opened up the city to accept that hero. So that was cool. And it's interesting to, you know, you see the frustration on Jim because the cops aren't doing their job anymore. They don't really need cops anymore because Penguin is essentially that. So, and also what also happens is there's a criminal. There's this gang that sort of holds up this wedding, and they're led by, I'm pretty sure that's Steve Buscemi's brother, because God, he looks like Steve Buscemi, but I'm pretty sure that was his brother. And yeah, they basically hold up this wedding, and Zaz is like sitting in the back going, you don't have a license. I'm sorry, you can't do this. You can't do this. So leave now, or I kill you. And he shot his finger off first. Look, if they're gonna make Victor Zaz more of it, like, you know, bring him into more things, and you know, sort of, and be Victor Zaz and be funny and be cool, you know, that's the sort of, you know, kind of weird, cool bad guy. I'm all keen for that. I'm all keen for that because in the scenes that he was in this episode, he was funny and he was cool. I actually really liked him. Like the standoff he had with Alfred. You know, Alfred and him basically had the standoff with guns, and they sort of like just nodded at each other like, yeah, okay, I'll see you later, sort of thing. Like that, it was cool. I liked it. I really did. And yeah, so more Victor Zaz. I'm happy with that. That'd be really cool. And so Steve Buscemi's brother, you know, and his gang are like pissed off that because they don't have a license, so they can't do crime. And they're like, I really want to get back at Penguin because, like, how dare he stop me from doing what I want? So one of the gang members who apparently was at Arkham Asylum, and I've seen him before. I'm pretty sure he's been like a bad guy that's been busted, or, you know, he's running with another crew or something. He remembers that Jonathan Crane, you know, he's at Arkham Asylum, and they're like, oh, his dad made like this fear serum or this fear stuff. We should use that. Let's just go get him. Like, I got an in with the boss at the Arkham Asylum. Like, I can get this guy. Like, we'll get him. And, you know, they go and they pay to get, you know, take you know, Jonathan Crane, and yeah, they make the serum. They make the fear serum, and essentially, you know, for Jonathan Crane, like this episode is basically his awakening as well. He's, you know, this whole time that, you know, I think he was season 2, pretty sure he was season 2 that Jonathan Crane first showed up, and, you know, he's been in Arkham Asylum pretty much this whole time, and he's a Scarecrow, like Scarecrow's after him and all the rest of it, and, you know, Steve Buscemi's brother basically locks him in a closet with a Scarecrow. And he like sort of embraces the Scarecrow and becomes the Scarecrow, you know, becomes fear itself, sort of thing. I gotta say, that Scarecrow costume is scary as shit. That's creepy. It's creepy. You know, it looks a bit clunky and a little bit like, a little bit off. Like, I would like maybe a little bit, you know, a little bit more like the, you know, the animated series, a little bit more like the hat. And, you know, a bit more sleeker, like less Batman Begins, you know, more Batman the Animated Series sort of one, you know? That's what I prefer. But I mean, like, these are the first iterations of these suits that these costumes that they wear. So that's cool. I'll give them the first one. But yeah, essentially this was, hey, we're gonna have Scarecrow in this now. Crane's scare toxin's gonna be a big part of this thing. Like, I would kind of prefer it not to be, because we've already had this big, toxin thing in the previous seasons. We don't need another big mass, like, toxin gassing thing. Like, we don't need another one. So hopefully the big, like, ultimate, like, end of season climactic thing isn't like a giant toxic, fear bomb, like the last one. Like, that's repeating itself a bit. So yeah, so it was cool to see Scarecrow though. Like, I think we're ready for another villain to make their way in. We're already starting to see more and more show up. So to get Scarecrow now is quite cool. I mean, we also had Ivy in this one. Ivy was more like she pushed the button, showed off Ed, got told to go away, and then basically sort of betrayed Penguin right at the end. Like, she was sort of like, stuff you, I'm done with you. And then, yeah, basically turns all the lights off and everything goes to heck. Like, that was, like, you never saw any reason why she was doing this. Like, she was a little weird when Tabitha and Selena came in, because Tabitha wanted nothing to do with her because she was with Penguin. So and Tabitha hates Penguin, absolutely hates it, because, obviously killed her brother. So, she was kind of weird. Like, she couldn't really be with Selena and be a part of their group. So I wonder if, like, that kind of set her off. Like, well, Penguin's been mean to me. I kind of want to go with these guys. Or maybe she wants to go off on her own, which would be cool, because then she could develop as a character more. I would have liked to have seen a little more out of Ivy. I think she's past the whole, like, I'm a pretty girl, I'll use, like, perfume to thing. I think she needs to, like, Ivy needs to start really getting into the whole plant thing. We need to start getting to that point. Yes, she had the age thing, miraculous, she's aged miraculously to make her Ivy. We went from her being a little girl now to being Ivy straight away. I think I still don't really, like, I know they kind of wanted to have an Ivy character there, but they already did, but they wanted to age her up quicker. It was a strange choice, but okay. I'll hopefully they will do more with Ivy this season, and she'll come into her own more. Selena definitely coming into her own now, which is pretty cool. Sort of, breaking away from Bruce, I think is a good thing for her, because I mean, they do have to have a point where they don't see each other too much, because Bruce has got to become Batman, and Selena's got to become Catwoman, because they don't really know who each other are for a while. They got to be a mystery to each other for a bit. You can't just say, like, oh yeah, you're immediately Batman or you're immediately Catwoman. Like, there's got to be a little bit of secrecy there, right? And you sort of saw Selena, in the alleyway. She beats up all those bad guys. There's a bit of a training session with Tabitha. Look, I knew she was going to end up with Tabitha at some point, because girl with a whip who can fight really, really good, that's going to be her mentor. Tabitha was always going to be her mentor. So I'm glad that she's now learning all those skills, honing skills she's had for a while. She's just needed someone to really, focus them and get her, like, on the right path. Can I just say, Carmen is it Carmen or Cam? I think it's Carmen. She's a very good a young Catwoman. Like, she's bang on. Like, she looks like a Catwoman, like, right from this, like, a Selena Kyle. She really does. She reminds me of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman so much. Like, just a younger version. She's really good. I quite like her. Hopefully she will become more Catwoman like this season. Like, I always felt like she's been too sort of in Bruce's shadow too much in the show. It'd be nice to see her get more of her own story and become more of her own character. And then, yeah, essentially, like, the big, fight with the, Steve Buscemi's brothers gang. They get their asses beat. Like, they weren't really the thing. That the big thing was Penguin proving his power, him not being afraid to show everyone like who he is. Like, I'm a freaking criminal, the Lord of the Underworld sort of thing. Like, I don't care that everyone knows that I'm a criminal. They should. Gone are the days where the mob is now, sort of in behind the scenes and no one wants everyone to know. Now we're seeing the birth of the supervillains. The villains, the ones that, they want everyone to know who they are. Like, Penguin wants everyone to know that I'm Penguin. I do this. You cross me. Like, everyone in the city needs to know who I am. Gone are those days where you hide in the shadows. And, yeah, so basically, all that goes down. Penguin gets sprayed with fear toxin. So we'll have to see how long those toxins last. I'd say it won't have too much of a, long-lasting, thing, but effect. But yeah, it was still cool. I'll be more excited once, the real Scarecrow, comes onto the scene and starts doing his thing. Because I think, Steve Buscemi's brother was okay for a start. Like, now, let the real Scarecrow come in. And, yeah, I mean, really, what it comes down to now is Bruce really stepping up and becoming Batman. I mean, we've seen in the promos, Lucius comes along and goes, hey, I can make you gear. You want gear? I got this suit. I got this stuff. I got this mask. You want it? You saw him be like kind of the rookie where he like fell through the skylight, and he's not a badass yet. He's not a badass. He doesn't know how to really do everything yet. Like, he stole a list from Penguin, but it was from a lawyer that was terrified and was never gonna fight back at him. Like, I thought that was really far too easy for like a list that Penguin cherishes. Like, where's his guards? I don't know. It was just a bit too easy. And of course now he's, been arrested by the cops and stuff. But that's all that's going to lead to is Lucius saying, hey, I know what you're doing. You want some help? Hey. But yeah. I mean, overall though, it was a good episode. Some very intriguing stories coming down the line, I think. The Scarecrow stuff is interesting. Hope we don't get a big scare gas bomb at the end, or else that's just copying what we just had with the Tetch virus. So I don't know. I don't think that would be all too good. And that's kind of copying Batman Begins. We did have a Ra's sighting. Of course, Ra's just gonna keep an eye on Bruce. Because, we all know, the Al Ghul family really likes them some Bruce Wayne. They really like them some Bruce Wayne. I kind of want to see if Talia shows up at any point. Does a Talia Al Ghul show up? I wouldn't mind that. To see Selena and Talia together would be interesting. Is there a bit of conflict? I mean, Selena and Silver, they had a conflict. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing a Talia and a Selena fight. That would be kind of cool. But I think there's some really interesting stories to come down the line from this season. Because I think we're finally getting to that point now where everyone is, becoming who they're meant to be. Or starting that track. They're starting to work their way towards it. Do I think Bruce is a bit young to become that sort of first iteration of Batman? Maybe. I think he's doesn't quite look like he's old enough. But I think the series needs this. The series needs to start getting into the Batman stuff now. Like, not directly. Like, you don't have to start calling yourself Batman. Just start. Just start beating up bad guys. Start looking at a mask. You know, I think it will be good. It would be good. I think this could be a really good season. I really do. And I'm excited. And I'm just glad it's back. I'm glad Gotham's back. Yeah. Alright, guys. That's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.